Good evening, all. I'm just walking over to check to see if this is on. It is. That's awesome. So you'll notice the room is a little dark. I set it up that way so you guys should hopefully be able to see the board a little easier over here. And it's really important that you understand some of the stuff that's going on here today. So tonight, obviously, you can see the heading up there. It says prescription medications and health. And we really need to understand does health come, is it a pill, potion? Is it a lotion? Is it something, or does it come from within us? We have a lot of things going on. It's May, and we still have lockdowns. We still have some gradual improvements and openings of things. And I want you guys to understand that I respect everything and everyone that's out there and the choices that they make. It is also important to understand that you still need to be able to get out and communicate with others and stay healthy. Just because you're sitting in the house does not mean you're going to stay healthy. And honestly, the more you sit, the more you sequester. You could still connect with people, but the lack of human contact, whether it be from distancing or whatever it may be, personal distancing, is not healthy for us. So I just want to encourage you to share the information that comes up here. You'll see me reading some of the stuff off here because I don't memorize these facts, but I was also reading another book that I'm going to share some information for you. Please don't misunderstand me and think that I'm against medications. One of the things that people need to understand is a time and place for everything. And one of the things right now is everybody's running to get vaccines, and there is so much misinformation and malformation and information coming out and confusing information that we really don't know sometimes what the truth is. And hopefully the information that I'm going to give you is factual and from the truth. The numbers still hold true. I'm not going to focus a lot on the COVID stuff this time around. You guys will be able to read that stuff all the time. I continue to read it, and now that the deeper I look into it, the deeper the deeper confused I get. The only thing I can do is encourage you to get adjusted and make sure that you're staying healthy and doing the things that are necessary to stay healthy. And for those of you that are staying home, I encourage you, please make sure that you make the right choices with your diet and your exercise and the activities that you're doing. So we're going to be talking tonight about prescription meds and health. Okay, a lot of the times people will go down a rabbit hole. How many people have known you get one medication, and then something else crops up, and you get another medication, and then another thing crops up, and then it comes to the average 50-year-old is taking 5 medications, prescription medications. That's not to include all the other healthy or unhealthy things that they do. That's a lot of money for both the prescription, the pharmaceuticals, and it's a lot of money out of the pockets of the people paying for those things. So I want to show you a lot of those things. The United States spends the most money and has the most prescriptions throughout the world, pretty much combined. We take the most medications out of any country combined as opposed to the others. The numbers vary. I've started reading some of the newer numbers, and it varies anywhere from we take about 60 to 80% of the world population's medication. So we take about 60 to 80% of the prescriptions that are out there. Something wrong with that. We need to look at ourselves. We've made ourselves prime targets for any sort of virus. We are not healthy. We need to make sure that this virus probably not going to go away. We need to start taking better care of ourselves and be more concerned with how we take care of ourselves, and make sure that we are doing that. So, having said that, what I'd like to do is share some information about the pharmaceutical industry. In 2014, the total pharmaceutical revenues worldwide exceeded $1 trillion for the first time. Think about that number, $1 trillion. It's sort of like, they just had this, $2 trillion, CARES Act plan and things to help businesses and the people that are out there. That money doesn't come for free. That money is definitely something that we're going to have to look at. In 2018, it was $1.204 trillion. That's a lot of money. And if you think about it, there's a book out there called The $800 Million Pill. I'm reading, and I'm going to read some stuff from it. And just in the introduction alone, the information is shocking. They talk about a company called Amgen, who was on the cutting edge of biotechnologies, recombinant engineerings, and they started back in the 80s, and they produced two medications that were approved through the FDA during the Bush administration. One was Epogen, and the other one was Neupogen. Let me see. Neupogen. One, Epogen is to help with red blood cell for people that are like on dialysis and things of that nature. Dialysis, the Epogen helps them to continue to create red blood cells. It helps to increase that creation of that for those people, because then it helps them to avoid anemia. And that's an important thing. But why is it that 300,000 people are on dialysis? That's my question. 300,000 people are on dialysis. And, this company, Amgen, skyrocketed in costs because the cost of the medication was so expensive. And most of the people that are on dialysis are on Medicare. So guess who? Amgen actually made their money on our dime. They made it on taxpayers' money because it was paid through Medicare. The next medication they made was Neupogen, which is a medication for cancer patients to help produce white blood cell counts. It helps to stimulate that. It's called a granulocyte colony stimulating factor. And it triggers the bone marrow to create white blood cells. And obviously that's important. It's important in the factor of cancer and someone that's having cancer. Again, I go back to why is it that so many people have cancer? And then you're looking at the shot, and the shot varies from somewhere between but the way it's delivered, the medication is $1,600 to $2,300 a dose. So they're making a lot of money. But it's interesting because they said it takes about $800 million to create the next medication. And what happened was the company made billions, but the $800 million wasn't really all spent on R&D. It was spent on keeping the company's employees paid and making sure people were taken care. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And, and half of the employees of that company were one of every $5 over the past decade after they created these medications was it was used supposedly for research and development, and they didn't create anything for years, for at least 10 or 12 years. Okay, a long time. It takes a long time to develop things. I understand that. However, a lot of wasted money and time. Okay, there's a lot of, I can recall looking at studies, for chiropractic. We can't even get it $100,000 grant, and they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars, and a majority of the money doesn't even go towards where it's supposed to go to. And then they produced another medication that came out, and it's interesting because the statement that they said, and I had it highlighted, and it was rather interesting because they created a medication called Arnesp, and it was like Epogen, so it was for anemia. And this is the statement. We believe, company officials said, we believe Aranesp simplifies the treatment of anemia associated with chronic renal failure with potentially fewer offer visits and less disruption to patients' lives, said by Kevin Scherer. Pretty dramatic health claim by them when they already had a medication that was out there that was now probably less expensive, and now this one is going to cost more. So that's where this money starts to go back to. It starts to funnel back. It doesn't come back to us, but it's important to understand that a majority of their monies don't go towards R&D. North America, largest portion of the revenues accounting for 48%, increasing from 41% in 2010. So just in the last 8 years, from 2010 to 2018, the revenues that North America contributed to that increased by about 7.9%. Currently, the company spend only 1/3 of sales revenue on Currently, companies spend more than 1/3 of all sales revenue on marketing. 1/3 of the money goes to marketing, roughly twice what they spend on research and development. So this is what I was just talking about. They spend about 1/3 of their money on marketing, and only 1/6 of the money is spent on research and development. There's something wrong with this equation. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if they're truly worried about the welfare of individuals, okay, the welfare of individuals, why aren't they spending, half their money on research and development? Why aren't they looking? So, and I know it's costly to run a business and everything, but really, I don't understand how all of that wasted money goes into marketing and advertising. Okay, that's wasted money in my mind. Okay, you could use that money if it really works. Why do you have to market and advertise it so much? It's to make money. So DT stands for direct-to-consumer advertising. United States and New Zealand are the only two companies that have direct-to-consumer advertising. Pretty dramatic, pretty crazy stuff. They're the only two that have that. In 2006, the Government Accountability Office, or the GAO, reported that drug companies spent $4.2 billion in 2005 on direct-to-consumer advertising. In 2005, promoting drugs to physicians and $31.4 billion, $7.2 billion in 2005 was used to promote drugs to physicians, and $31.4 billion on research and development. So think about that. They spent $7.2 billion in promoting $7.2 billion in promoting the drug to the physicians. It's really scary, because what do you think the physician's going to do? Oh, yeah, let's use this drug. It's new. When they don't even really know what's going on, and they're being advertised, they're being told by... They're not being told by other doctors or other physicians what the medication is for. They're being told by salespeople what they're selling it for. So it's important. John Abramson, in his book Overdosed America, noted in 1997 when the direct-to-consumer advertising changed, there was an onslaught of commercials. Americans were exposed to 9 prescription drug advertisements on television every day. The number of television ads increased 40-fold between 94 and 2000. So 9 prescription drug ads every day, increase of 40-fold from 94 to 2000. 40-fold. They used to say when I was in school that on average, by the time we were 18 years of age, if you watched a few hours of TV a day, you were exposed to 18,000 hours of drug commercials. Talk about brainwashing. What are people doing? They see the ads, they think, oh yeah, let me take that. And then you listen to the end of the ads and you're like, oh, why would I do that? Why would I take those things? So it's important that we look at other avenues before we're going out. The rise of prescription drug use, number of prescriptions filled in 97 was 2 billion. Let me start over. Number of prescriptions filled, 97, 2,416,000 and some change. In 2016, so look at the number of years. That's 9 years. No, 19 years, right? Okay, 16, 97, yes. 19 years, almost 5 billion prescriptions. That's the number of prescriptions filled. 4.5 billion. It's like almost double. It's like a 40 to 45% increase. That's insane. Why are we so in love with medications? Why is it we all think that our bodies aren't strong enough to heal? The power that made the body heals the body. It doesn't happen anywhere other way. The medications are there sometimes because things happen that we can't overcome, but they're not that common. If they are, there's something wrong with our healthcare system. You really got to look at this and think about it and say to yourself, do I really need this? And if the doctor is fearing you into taking it and saying you're going to die if you don't take it, I would say, well, show me the study. And may I have a copy? Because I want to know what it's for. And you should be asking those questions. Show me the study. Give me a copy. Why are we taking this for this? And now with everything that's going on with the COVID-19 and coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, they are like just bypassing all the ethical stuff to just test things on people. And people are like, oh, we need something. Yeah, you need you. The doctor that lies within you is the one that is going to help you heal. Not the stuff. Stop looking for answers from outside of yourself. Look for the answers from inside of yourself. There's time and place. So, sorry, I get really worked up about this stuff, and it's just I know the process. I was on 10 medications when I was 25 years old. I was on 10, 4 for asthma and allergies and 6 for my migraines. A lot of people, I talk about this because, you know what? I'm 55 years old. If I hadn't stopped taking those medications, my body would be a mess. I'd be taking more medications than you could possibly imagine. And I know that for a fact. Okay, because I just would have never listened to what my body was saying. Pain is a good thing sometimes. Not always. But sometimes it's telling you, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should slow down a little bit and work into it. Okay? These are the things we're doing. If you're having trouble breathing, work on it. Okay? Go back to my asthma and allergy class and understand that, you can work on these things. You can exercise your body. You can do these things. Even for people like myself, I was talking to someone yesterday and I said to them, I can't run anymore. And it sort of upsets me. I wasn't a big fan of running. I liked swimming and biking much better. But I really can't run anymore because I have bone on bone in my knee. And I showed them the x-ray. They was like, ow. But I still walk and I still do things to keep it mobile because I know that if the scar tissue builds up, I'm not going to be able to move it at all. And it gets stiff. Do I take anything for it? I take supplements that I take every day anyway to help with my joints and everything. And at 55, I'm much healthier than I was then, even though some of my joints hurt. But that's damage from years and years and years of degeneration, which I'll never be able to change. But I can make sure that it doesn't get worse. So don't always, what are the tools of the medical doctor? Surgery, right? Prescription medications. What are the usual things? Do they usually say to you, the first thing they say is, oh, you've got something going on in your body, go to the chiropractor? No, they don't. And as a matter of fact, there was a study that came out a while back, and it showed that chiropractic is much more effective on your body as a whole, okay? As a whole, not just for neck pain, back pain, headaches, things of that nature. They found that when you get adjusted, it actually changes or affects for the better the frontal lobe of your brain. The frontal lobe of your brain is where we talk about how we inhibit it inhibit us from doing something bad, or it integrates the processes that go on. It is one of the most important parts. And chiropractic can help that. Not that. That deadens the body. Okay, that depresses the system from working. Stimulating red blood cell production, that's good. Okay, just like they did with from Amgen, the erythropoietin creator. Okay, they try to help to create more red blood cells, more oxygen into the body. That's great because it's needed for people that don't have normal kidney function. Why does a normal person need something like that? Would you take it if you were healthy? You wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't, right? So why do you think it's needed in that case? Well, something led to that. There are situations, but 300,000 people with dialysis, that's a lot of people. How is it that happened? Let's sort of look back and try to figure out what the true cause of the problem is, okay? And then we can figure out. And there's time and place. Like I said, my mom when she went through cancer, they wanted to give her the Neulasta type shots or the Neupogen type shots, and Medicare wouldn't pay for the $2,000 shot, so we had to find a alternative, which was a generic, and the pharmaceuticals don't like generics because they're cheaper, okay? But my mom needed it. Hey, I'm not gonna. It helped her get through her cancer and chemo treatments. So I'm not totally adverse to things, but the question is, how did my mother even get there? What was it that brought those things on? So those are the things that we should be looking at. There's a lot of conflict of interest in the area of drug and research development. The private sector actually dominates R&D. This is a problem, because if it's in the private sector, what are they going to hope for? What are they going to push for if it's in the private sector? That their drug works better, or that there's positive results. They spend millions of dollars developing new drugs. The profit imperative. Look at that word. The profit imperative. They're looking at the bottom dollar. They're not looking at the person. Ensures that the drugs chosen for development are those most likely to provide a high return on the company's investment. Is that in the best interest of you and I? Or is that the best interest of the company? So it's interesting because where are the medications needed the most? Probably in like third world countries, and sometimes we give the third world countries stuff that we don't use anymore, or things of that nature. So drugs for use in the industrial world are prioritized over ones for use in the South, where many patients would be unable to pay for them. Industrialized areas. They look at industrialized areas. Okay? If they're really concerned about people, the ones that can't afford it are probably the ones that need it the most, because we have to help them. Or maybe they're healthier because they're not. I don't know. But think about that. Maybe going less often, they don't have to take the stuff. But it's important to understand. So, in the words of the WHO, an inherent conflict of interest between the legitimate business goals of manufacturers and the social, medical, and economic needs of providers and the public to select and use drugs in the most rational way. Promotional spending by pharmaceutical companies is 50 times greater than spending on public information on health. I'm done. I'm done. Just think about what that says. 50 times greater than on marketing, than teaching people how to take care of themselves. I'm done. This is nuts. Okay, because if they took the money and reversed it, and we took the ability to teach people how to take care of themselves and how to stay healthy, which is what we try to do here in this office, okay, then we wouldn't have the problems that are going on. We wouldn't have these problems that are going on. We'd be much healthier, and we'd be able to resist whatever comes our way. And there are going to be those few that are not going to be able to resist. And I get that. And I understand that. And there's a time and a place for it. But we should be looking at spending money on how to keep people healthy, not injecting things into them, scanning them with radiation, doing all of these, sticking tubes down people's throats and saying, oh, this is all preventative. Is it really? Why don't we just start from the basics? Hey, get outside, okay? Get proper rest, exercise, adjust your attitude, stop watching the news, because you're just going to overwhelm yourself. I mean, I'm done. This is where we look. Look at what they're saying. It's scary. It's really, really scary that, even as an investor, where are you putting your money? Are you putting it in? People are like, oh yeah, let me put the money into the stock market. But is it going to these companies that promote this stuff? Or are you trying to be green? Are you trying to find good companies? Are you buying? Are you supporting your local grocer? Are you supporting your local contractor? Are you supporting your local eyeglass optometrist? Are you everything? Are you supporting locally? Because I want to tell you guys, this is not going to change out there when there are a lot of people that are looking to make a lot of money. Okay, they're not concerned about you and I. In 2013, U.S. quote healthcare. We don't really have a healthcare system. It's a crisis care system. Spending increased 3.6% to reach $2.9 trillion, $9,255 per person. The fifth consecutive year of slow growth in the range of 3.6 to 4.1%. The share of the economy devoted to health spending has remained at 17.4% since 2009. Like 17% of our monies on our gross domestic product and the economy goes to that. $2.9 trillion. That's crazy. If we can teach people, if the private sector or those people didn't spend so much money on this, on promotional, and they spent it more on true healthcare, maybe we'd get somewhere. These are some of the estimates and who the target is for these meds. Estimates vary, but the pharmaceutical and medical device industry spend around $30 billion per year on market advertising efforts to maximize market share. That's about, I think it comes out to something like $30 million a day. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. The drug and medical device industry spend over $20,000 per doctor each year on marketing efforts that include gifts, meals, travel, consultancies. And there is some stuff that has come out recently that helps restrict that. But be aware, stuff still happens. Like they can't, like the pharmaceutical reps can't even give pens to the doctors anymore because of the new rules. Medical market has grown so broad that one recent survey reported that 94% of physicians have received some form of benefit or payment from the drug and device industries. Conflict of interest? Yeah. I can't make this stuff up, guys. I just can't. Prescription medications are not the answer. You are. I can't say that enough. Please review everything that you're doing. Sit down with your doctors. If they don't listen to you, find another doctor and start from scratch. Because when there's a new view on things, and if you don't pay attention to what they're doing, they sometimes get angry at you. That's not health. That's not listening. That's not care. What we offer here in the office is care. We listen, and we explain to you where we come from our perspective. And in most cases, the medical doctor is not going to refer to us. They'll give you the medication first, maybe physical therapy. They might even give you some shots, things of that nature, and somewhere in there they might say, yes, they will. Some medical doctors have come around and said, hey, yeah, maybe you want to try a chiropractor. But it's usually not for health in general, but it's usually for some sort of pain or ache. And that's what usually walks in through the door. But understand that your body functions better when you're adjusted. Your body is definitely better when you eat healthier. Your body is definitely better when you exercise more. You have to learn how to take care of yourself. Stop letting people take control of your life and your health. It's time for you to take control and spread the story and let people know, hey, this is where I go. This is where you should be. You should be learning how to take care of this stuff. Stop it. The education is more important than anything else. Learn how to take care of yourself. And walk away from all the fear tactics and learn how to take care of yourself. Guys, thank you very, very much for listening tonight. You can tell I get hot about this topic, but I've been through it. So this is personal. It should be personal to you too. Who are you going to say to? Who are you going to talk to? Who are you going to share this with? And tell them, hey, this is what my chiropractor does. Hopeful May. I am hoping that May is one of those wonderful, wonderful, wonderful months. Because May is a month of hope, regrowth. Everything's coming out. We're getting rebirth of the plants, the trees, everything. A lot of hope going around there. And I want you guys to understand that I only want the best for you. And I hope that you can feel that coming through that screen. You guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.